G'day geeks, Chris here, and if like me you are a child of the 80s, then it is a very good time to be alive because everything old is new again. So thanks to toy manufacturer The Loyal Subjects, M.A.S.K have returned. So not M.A.S.K is in the Jim Carrey movie, but M.A.S.K is in Mobile Armoured Strike Command with a K. The Kenner figure line and cartoon and comic line from the 80s have returned, much to fans' cheer and applause. So yes, not exactly like you remember them. There's a few slight differences, but very, very close to the vehicles and figures from the 80s. So today we are looking at the first wave. We're looking at Thunderhawk and Condor. Very, very cool figures. Let's have a look at them right now. M.A.S.K have returned. Good times. What a time to be alive, especially if you grew up in the 80s like myself. So we've got to thank the Loyal Subjects for bringing back M.A.S.K, which is originally an 80s property produced by Kenner. So there was a TV series that ran for a couple of seasons, and then the actual toy line ran from 85 to 88, 4 different series. And if you're familiar, you would be aware that M.A.S.K stands for Mobile Armoured Strike Command. And yes, command starts with a K because it kind of fits in. And the riders, the drivers of the transforming vehicles also wear masks or helmets on their head, which also gives them special powers. So you've got M.A.S.K, the good guys, Venom, the bad guys, which is Vicious something something, Network of Mayhem. So you know, we love our acronyms in the 80s. So yes, the Loyal Subjects announced these in 2024, I believe. So it's been a bit of a long time coming. This is the entirety of the first wave. So we've got Thunderhawk, which is Matt Tracker's main vehicle, and Condor. And at the back we've got the high-tech helicopter and the mobile defense unit. And yes, they do have different names than the original toys did, but you know, trademark licensing issues, I'm sure. So yes, you can see that the packaging is very familiar. It's even got the Kenner logo there, which is lovely, very familiar and nostalgic. The Kenner logo and the Loyal Subjects logo up at the top there as well. So the old makers in the 80s and the new makers who have brought back Kenner. The familiar red packaging, the artwork on the front, it's all very familiar, and we'll look at these individually, but just seeing the familiar, exactly reproduced M.A.S.K logo with the red boxes just like they were in the 80s, it is absolutely awesome. What a time to be alive. Let's crack these bad boys open. We're going to start with the smallest and work our way up to the biggest. So as I said, these retro M.A.S.K figures are made by the Loyal Subjects, who make the best action figures, as in BST-AXN. That's kind of what they're known for. That's mainly Ninja Turtle related. They've also done Lord of the Rings and Buffy, that kind of thing. The last couple of years they've been pumping out some wonderful 80s properties that we all know and love. I'm just looking around my toy room at the moment. I've got Popples, My Pet Monster, Strawberry Shortcake, Rainbow Bright. So yes, they just keep making wonderful 80s properties, and I think Gem and Holograms they released last year as well. So here we go. The boxes are somewhat lighter than you will probably remember from your youth, and maybe smaller, but that's just because we're adults now. And it seems a bit lighter, and maybe the cardboard is a bit thinner and perhaps a bit more flimsy as well, but those are just minor nitpicks, and that could just be my imagination running away with me. But yes, you can see that they've got the transformation sequence on the top, much like the old Transformers do. Wonderful art, again very, very similar to the 80s, with the pilot and his mask, Brad Turner. And then we flick it over to the side, and it kind of tells you about the different features as well, which is awesome. It's got the spinning rotors, the guns that pop out, and all the stuff that comes in the package, including a new smoke effect, which obviously the 80s ones didn't come with. So I had this figure, or this vehicle, as a kid. The Condor was one of my favorites. Just love the yellow Brad Turner's outfit, and the green, very simple transformation. So let's crack open Condor. Out of the package, pretty simple. So we've got the stickers which we have to apply. Oh boy, let's hopefully we go okay with that. We've got the wonderful, very simple and again very 80s instructions in multiple languages there, which is great, and how to kind of assemble it. And then we've got Condor and Brad themselves in the lovely little black packaging. So we'll just take that top part off like so, and there we go. So yeah, we've got the mask, the smoke effects, which also operates as a stand, and the cool fire effect as well. Looking at Brad Turner himself, you'll remember that these are very similar to the figures that came in the 80s, so similar posability. So obviously the knees bend because they can't sit in their vehicles without it. Their waists don't move, the head has a bit of a pivot, the knees can splay out as well. One of the new articulation features for the new ones is their hands or their elbows, shoulders, whatever, human anatomy is strange, can lift up rather than just side and forward. So rather than just like that, they also go out that way, which is great. So yeah, pretty detailed, looks just like you remember from the 80s. Brad Turner in his black, pink and yellow outfit there, and you'll see that he comes with a helmet, a mask already on. Let's take that off and show his cool shades. Look at that. Got to look after your eyes, Brad. Good work. A bit stiff, but that's all right. And yes, so he already comes with a mask already on him, and also you'll see the little effect is permanently stuck on as well. So all of these lower subjects have these little effects which can't be removed, and then they also come with a slightly shorter mask as well. And you'll remember this is the look from the animated series in the 80s. So yeah, pretty cool there. You actually get two masks, so one longer than shorter. And I believe in the 80s, when these mask figures were originally produced in the second series, I think they made the masks a bit bigger and a bit longer, coming down further on the body, because parents were complaining that these were getting sucked up in the vacuum. The masks were just too tiny and too short and would easily be lost. So Brad Turner looking pretty good. I didn't do too badly with the sticker placement, thankfully. So it comes with little cool dashboard stickers and gadgets and stuff that just sticks on the dashboard there, and then two mask stickers which just fit under the little rotor on either side. So thankfully I managed to get them on relatively late. And then the smoke effects that it comes with, so that just goes on the back wheel, so it looks like it's doing a bit of a burnout, which is awesome. That's a nice little touch, and obviously it acts as a vehicle stand as well, so that's pretty cool, and it's in bike form. And then the little laser kind of cannon just fits on the front right there, and it looks like he's shooting. So these are certainly features that the original 80s figure didn't have, but very glad that they've included those for this modern reimagining. So Transformers weren't the only vehicles that transformed back in the day. So obviously these don't transform into robots. M.A.S.K is basically vehicles transforming into other vehicles, and kind of normal civilian vehicles transferring into more military attack vehicles. So here we have the motorcycle, and it transforms into a helicopter. The instructions show us how to do that, but again, the engineering is pretty simple and what you remember from your youth. So you'll basically just pull up these little copters. You'll hear a click. If you do struggle with this, you can just push down the seat. So that does the first thing, brings up the rotors. There's a little catch on either side, so just uncatch those. You can see that it's going to come back again. It is a bit fragile, so I don't recommend giving these to your kids necessarily. It was a lot easier when I did this before I started recording, but there we go. So you just pull out the little arms, the rotors, and they just kind of lock in place at the top there. This back wheel falls out, and then this little stand or whatever pulls out, and you can see there's some guns on there as well. So yeah, pretty simple transformation. That pops out. You've got the rotors. I mean, you don't want a 6'5" guy riding this Condor, because he'll have his head chopped off, and then the back wheel goes up as well. So that's pretty much it. That is now from a motorcycle to a very simple helicopter, and it looks just like it does on the back of the package, on the front of the packaging. So there we go. That's Condor from motorcycle to helicopter. And obviously to change it back, you just reverse the process, and you will just click in the rotor arms like so, push that back, pull that in, and that just goes back in like so, the back wheel. There you go. As long as you hear a click, you're safe. It does say on the instructions, if the windshield actually comes out, you can just push it back as well, but I haven't had any problem with this coming out. It stands on its own okay, but obviously if you want it for that extra dynamic shot, just whack it on there, and then Brad holding his, with the new posability, they could all hold the first or the second spare helmet under their arm, which is nice, and he will just sit on like so. Hopefully he'll fit in okay, and there we go. So yes, a bit of finagling just to get it right, but you get the idea. There's Brad riding Condor. Next we have Thunderhawk, led by a good guy leader, M.A.S.K, and this is probably a lot of people's favourites with the cool DeLorean type gull wing doors, and obviously, you know, weapons and all that kind of stuff. It's interesting, some of the original packaging, I believe in the 80s, didn't have artwork which was firing weapons and that kind of stuff. It was just more dynamic and vehicle speed focused rather than machine gun firing, and that looks like what we've got here. But again, the familiar packaging, quite a light box, thin cardboard, but very cool indeed. Shows you the features. He even gets a flight belt this time, which is pretty cool. And obviously he comes with 2 masks, which is great, a couple of blast effects, and this is showing all the features right up here. So yeah, very, very cool. And yeah, I just like how every side of the box has something on it, and of course it has the flame attachments as well. So yeah, Thunderhawk mask, let's open it up. Again, we have the lovely blueprint / instructions, which show you all the different converting modes. We've got more stickers. Oh gosh, I hope my eyesight and steady hands allows me to do that well. And then we have obviously quite a more substantial vehicle here in the Thunderhawk. It comes with a lot more bits and pieces than the Condor did. So let's open them up and have a look. Here is the blonde hero M.A.S.K in his lovely flight suit, and obviously he comes with the same articulation as Brad Turner as well. I'll just stand him by the car, and as I said, he comes with a whole bunch of bits and bobs. So look at all this stuff. I'm already dropping things. So we've got the 2 different masks, and this is a pliable material as well, which is good, again with your non-removable effect. And he comes with the smaller mask, which is probably the look that he's more known for. So M.A.S.K's spectrum mask, like shoots lasers and sound waves and all that kind of stuff. And then we've got a couple of these little laser kind of effects, a couple of missiles, which is pretty awesome. And then he's got this little disc firing thing. So yeah, it's pretty cool that they've got some action features, and he comes with 2 of these which look like little hockey pucks, but no, they go in there and shoot out. So a whole bunch of stuff for M.A.S.K. The first cool feature of the Thunderhawk is this button at the top, and that basically just flings out the doors, the gull wing doors, much like the DeLorean. So we just press that down, and that's pretty cool. So that's the first stage of the transformation. It's already starting to look like a jet already, and then you can see that we have some stickers applied. I might not be able to see, it's pretty tight, already applied in there, which is fantastic because they would be pretty hard to put in there. And we have a couple of seat belts. They are hard plastic, but there's little tabs, they can be removed, and M.A.S.K can fit in. It is a tight squeeze, so do be gentle, but he certainly can fit into the driver's seat. The steering wheel does have a bit of movement to it as well, and obviously if you want, you can put someone in the other side as well. So not a lot of leg room, pretty tight, but yes, you could 2 figures, I guess, if you want to try. The second thing the instructions ask you to do is to slide this little disc launcher onto the bottom of the car, and the bottom is pretty detailed and nice, I must say, and the wheels spin just like the Condor as well. I think the original actually had Dunlop or whatever tyres, or maybe Michelin tyres, but these aren't branded, they just say Tracker on them, I think. But anyway, yes, the disc launcher, so it's a bit flimsy to put on. There's basically a groove that it kind of clips onto, and then you have to pull these both red clips down and lock in place. You can see there, a bit of a J hook there, and then you would press this black button, and the 2 discs, which look like hockey pucks, fire. I mean, they're a pretty powerful spring, but then you'd have to re-click those back into the J hook every time you want to do it. It's a bit of a fiddly play feature, and it's not really necessary. I don't think I'll probably remove this, to be honest, because it doesn't like tuck in or hide or anything. So anyway, not really necessary, but a cool play feature. But I don't think kids are going to be playing with these, and they're not really going to hold up the vigorous play of kids. I reckon these are definitely more adult, gentle collector and display pieces with a few bonus play features thrown in. But anyway, so there's the wings and the optional disc launcher. I will say when you touch the top button at the top there and the gull wing doors open, you'll also see that the spoiler activates as well. Let's just do that again so you can see what I'm talking about. So press the top button and the bumper or the spoiler raises as well, and that reveals the M.A.S.K logo and the little kind of jet afterburner intake. I don't know, I don't drive, I don't know what I'm talking about. And the flame effects can just pop into there if you want, which is pretty lovely. So again, just for some display options, they just plug it right in there. Look at that, that looks pretty awesome and easy enough to remove. And if you want to push all this stuff down, you literally just push it all down. There's no button to put it back into place. So again, I will reiterate, be gentle with this. And you'll see that there's a couple of chrome little machine guns here. You can see how delicate and fragile they be, but I love the chrome reflective surface of the two guns on either side. Just pull those out, which is pretty awesome. So a couple of more guns. And then the last feature is a couple of missiles. So we're going to put the missiles right in here. So you'll recall that we get two of those and they just fit right in there. So you'll see the missiles kind of fit in this little area, kind of like batteries. Just put them in face first. Again, with everything with these newer M.A.S.K vehicles it is a touch fiddly. They just kind of fit in there. And then what you would do is basically these rear spoiler things, when you press them, they drop them from above. So first you want to press the button above to release the spoiler, and then that releases these two buttons, and then we push either button, I believe. And then it basically just drops the missile. So yes, not extremely powerful, but another fun feature. So yes, you can either drop the missiles from below, or as he's got the little thing at the front there. So yes, let's try that again. You can probably do both at the same time. There we go, and pretty awesome. So that is another feature for Thunderhawk. I just pulled out my M.A.S.K UK annual from 1986. As I said, DC Comics and IDW have produced M.A.S.K comics over the years. Short-lived, but they certainly have existed over the decades. And in 1986 and 1987, UK company Grand Dreams, I think that's how you say it, they produced kind of original text stories, but also reprints of the DC comic stories. And I picked this M.A.S.K annual up. I think it might have been even at a book sale many years ago, so it's pretty cool that it's here. And it's also funny that the front cover features all four vehicles that we'll be looking at in these next videos, so that's pretty cool. So there we go, a M.A.S.K annual. And just for a bit of comparison, here's some M.A.S.K figures made by Kenner in the 80s. So we have Vampire, driven by Floyd, and we have Dynamo by Bruce, driven by Bruce Sato. So yes, these are a couple of toys that I had in the 80s. These are ones I picked up off eBay, I think. But yes, pretty cool, and you can see the aesthetics are very similar with the transforming vehicles. Yes, this is probably one of my favourites, Vampire, and you can see that the actual figures are similar in scale as well. Just a bit taller, I guess, than new ones, but yes, pretty awesome. So yes, I'm hoping that loyal subjects can continue to release new figures, and we can get a whole bunch more M.A.S.K figures in the future. This video is already quite long, and I've only covered 2 out of the 4 vehicles, so I'm just going to leave this as a review of Thunderhawk and Condor, and I'll do a part 2 where I review the high-tech helicopter and the mobile defense unit. I will say the loyal subjects have done a very good job at recreating the vehicles and figures as we remember them for our youth, right down to the packaging and the stickers, with some extra features and accessories, which is awesome. They're not really meant to be played with. They are really made for us nostalgic middle-aged people trying to relive our youth. So from that perspective, as display pieces, they are fabulous. However, loyal subjects are aware that there may be some quality control issues. So even on the instructions, they do acknowledge that these can be easily repaired by yourself if things happen to fall out or disengage from the product, which is nice. But yes, pretty faithful recreation, and obviously the play features and all that work a treat. So I'm very happy with these, and I really do hope that they keep making more of these. So there we go, that is part 1, Thunderhawk and Condor, and I look forward to reviewing the other 2 in part 2. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, geeks.